Layla was a creature of light, eyes bright, smile infectious. She had a way of lighting up any room she walked into, her presence a beacon of warmth and joy. People were naturally drawn to her, captivated by her genuine kindness and the sparkle in her eyes. She was the kind of person who made you believe in the goodness of the world simply by being in it. She met Harun at a friend's wedding. It was one of those serendipitous moments that seemed orchestrated by fate itself. The air was filled with laughter and music, and amidst the celebration their paths crossed. Layla, in her elegant dress, caught Harun's eye from across the room. He was immediately struck by her beauty and the aura of happiness that surrounded her. He was handsome, with eyes that held the warmth of 1,000 suns. His smile was genuine and his demeanor exuded a quiet confidence. Harun had a way of making everyone around him feel at ease, his laughter infectious and his kindness evident in every gesture. He was the kind of man who listened more than he spoke, and when he did speak, his words were thoughtful and sincere. Layla, drawn to his gentle nature, felt an instant connection. He made her laugh with his witty remarks and charming anecdotes. They spent the evening talking, discovering shared interests and dreams. It was as if they had known each other for years, their conversation flowing effortlessly. Layla felt a sense of comfort and familiarity with Harun that she had never experienced before. She found solace in his presence. Harun had a calming effect on her, his steady gaze and reassuring words making her feel safe and cherished. They continued to meet after the wedding, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Layla realized that she had found someone who understood her in a way no one else ever had. Their love story began under a sky full of stars, full of promise. They would often take long walks hand in hand, talking about their hopes and aspirations. The night sky became their confidant, the stars bearing witness to their blossoming love. Each moment spent together was a treasure, a memory etched in their hearts forever. He proposed to her by the Bosphorus, the water shimmering like 1,000 diamonds. It was a perfect evening, the city lights reflecting off the water, creating a magical ambience. Harun got down on one knee, his eyes filled with love and hope. He held out a ring, a symbol of his commitment and devotion. Tears welled up in Layla's eyes. She was overwhelmed with emotion, her heart swelling with love for the man who had become her everything. The moment was surreal, a dream come true. She could hardly believe that this wonderful man wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. "Yes," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. 1,000 times yes. Her answer was filled with certainty and joy, her heart echoing the sentiment. They embraced their future together, stretching out before them like a beautiful, uncharted path. But even in that moment of joy, a shadow lurked in her heart. Layla couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. There was a part of her that was holding back, a secret that weighed heavily on her soul. She knew that she needed to share it with Harun, but the fear of losing him kept her silent. A secret she hadn't shared. It was a burden she carried alone, a truth that threatened to unravel the happiness they had found together. Layla knew that honesty was the foundation of any strong relationship, but the thought of revealing her secret filled her with dread. She hoped that when the time came, Harun's love for her would be strong enough to withstand the truth. Layla carried a burden. It was a weight that pressed down on her heart, a constant reminder of a past she wished she could forget. The serene waters of the Bosphorus did little to calm the storm within her. A past relationship, a painful secret. She often found herself staring at old photographs. Memories of a time when things were simpler, yet infinitely more complicated. The faces in those photos haunted her dreams. She had given birth to a child, a beautiful baby who had brought her immense joy and indescribable pain. The tiny hands that once clutched her fingers were now a distant memory, a ghost of a life she could never reclaim, a child she had given up for adoption. The decision had been agonizing, but she believed it was the right one. She had hoped for a better life for her child, one she felt she couldn't provide. This truth, she believed, would shatter Harun's love. The fear of losing him was overwhelming. She couldn't bear the thought of him looking at her with disappointment, or worse, disgust. She feared his judgment, his rejection. Every time he looked at her, she wondered if he could see through her facade. The anxiety gnawed at her, making her second-guess every word, every action, so she wove a lie, a complex tapestry of half-truths and fabrications. She convinced herself it was a necessary evil, a way to protect their fragile love from the harsh reality of her past. A story about a difficult childhood, a family torn apart. She painted a picture of a life filled with hardship and struggle, hoping it would elicit sympathy rather than scorn. She hid her pain behind a facade of invented sorrow. Each day she put on a mask, pretending to be someone she wasn't. The act was exhausting, but she believed it was the only way to keep Harun's love. Layla convinced herself it was for the best, for their love. She told herself that the lies were a small price to pay for the happiness they shared. But deep down, she knew the truth was a ticking time bomb. But each lie chipped away at her soul, leaving her feeling more isolated and disconnected. The weight of her deception grew heavier with each passing day, making it harder to breathe, harder to live, leaving her hollow and afraid. She wondered how long she could keep up the charade, how long before the walls came crashing down. The whispers of insecurity and seeds of deception had taken root, and she feared they would be her undoing. Their wedding day approached, a day that was supposed to be filled with joy and celebration. Layla, adorned in white, looked ethereal. Her dress flowed like a river of dreams, and her smile could light up the darkest room. But beneath the surface, fear gnawed at her. Her eyes, though sparkling, held a shadow of doubt. The lie she had nurtured had grown into a monstrous beast. It was no longer a small, manageable secret, but a looming threat that cast a long shadow over her happiness. It threatened to consume her, their happiness. Every smile she forced felt like a betrayal, every laugh a reminder of the impending doom. Harun, oblivious to her inner turmoil, beamed with love. His heart was full, his mind occupied with dreams of their future together. He saw only the woman he loved, the woman he yearned to spend his life with. To him, Layla was perfect, a vision of grace and beauty. Layla, lost in the labyrinth of her own making, desperately clung to the hope that her deception would remain undiscovered. She knew that if the truth came out, it would shatter the fragile world they had built together. The weight of her secret was a heavy burden, one that she carried alone, hoping against hope that love would be enough to see them through. The truth unraveled slowly, like an old tapestry. A chance encounter with an acquaintance from the past. A whispered conversation overheard. Harun, his face ashen, confronted Layla. The truth, like shards of glass, pierced his heart. He felt betrayed, his love trampled upon. The woman he loved, the woman he thought he knew, was a stranger. His dreams of a future together lay shattered at his feet. Section 5. The Reckoning, a Love Undone. The wedding was cancelled. Layla's pleas for understanding fell on deaf ears. Harun, his heart broken, couldn't bear to look at her. The pain of her deception was too raw, too deep. Layla watched him leave, her world crumbling around her. The weight of her lies crushed her spirit. She was left with the bitter realization that her fear had cost her everything. Section 6. The Weight of Silence, a Love Unspoken. In the aftermath, silence descended, a heavy silence thick with unspoken words, with regrets. Layla retreated into herself, haunted by the ghost of what could have been. She had built her love on a foundation of lies, and it had crumbled, leaving her buried under the debris of her own making. The pain of losing Harun was amplified by the knowledge that she had brought it upon herself. Section 7. Could truth have set her free? Layla often wondered in the quiet solitude of her grief if honesty would have changed things. If she had confided in Harun, trusted him with her past, would he have understood? Perhaps, perhaps not. But the possibility, however slim, tormented her. She was left to grapple with the knowledge that her fear had robbed her of the chance to find out. Section 8. In the Ruins of Trust, Lessons Learned. Time, the great healer, slowly began to mend her broken heart. The pain never truly went away, but it softened around the edges. Layla emerged from the wreckage of her deception, scarred but wiser. She learned that love thrives in the sunlight of truth, that trust, once broken, is a fragile thing to rebuild. Layla carried the lessons of her past with her, a constant reminder of the price of deception. Section 9. The Enduring Power of Honesty. Life went on. Layla found solace in her work, her friends. She learned to forgive herself, to embrace the future with open arms and an honest heart. She carried the memory of Harun in a quiet corner of her heart, a bittersweet reminder of a love lost and the enduring power of honesty. She knew now that true love could only bloom in the fertile ground of truth.